In 2015, the Cross River State Government embarked on an ambitious superhighway project it intends to finance with a mind-boggling 648 billion naira loan. In addition to that, the project is a major ecological threat to the state's rainforest, as it will wipe out a huge part of its biodiversity and ecotourism potentials and displace the host communities, destroying farmlands and places of cultural interest. Worse still, it will take the state 180 years to repay the loan incurred. Cross River is a state blessed with great people and abundant natural resources. Calabar, its capital, is adjudged to be the cleanest city in Nigeria. The city houses a fair share of Nigeria's history as the first capital of the Southern Protectorate during the British colonial rule. On October 20th, 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari was in Calabar for the groundbreaking ceremony of the state's Superhighway Project, initiated by the Cross River State Government under the leadership of Ben Ayade. The Calabar Superhighway, according to the Cross River State Government, is a 275-kilometer, 6-lane superhighway meant to facilitate easy movements of goods from a proposed deep-sea port located in Bakassi local government to Katinala in Benue State. The project cost is 648 billion naira loan, and the state intends to borrow that amount, all of it. To put it in context, the state has a yearly revenue shortfall of 28 billion naira, and it recently just got approval to borrow 20 billion naira to pay salary arrears and pensions from the State House of Assembly. In simple terms, Cross River State is not a financially viable state. From inception, stakeholders have raised many red flags concerning the project. Environmentalists, economists, journalists, community leaders, thought leaders, people of Cross River, and even the international community have raised concerns over the project and the process of its execution. There is no evidence showing that a proper bidding process was carried out according to the law, of which produced the winner, Sydney Construction Company, who seem to have no antecedent in road construction, although the state government claims that the company was chosen due to its low bid. Since the initiation of the proposed Superhighway project, no proper environmental impact assessment (EIA) is said to have been carried out till date. According to Punch newspaper publication of 27th October 2018, 3 failed EIAs have been carried out in order to get approval for the project from the federal government. And while the state government claims it has gotten approval based on a 4th assessment, there is no evidence that such assessment was done nor approval given. Host communities affected by the project have also voiced their concern and disapproval. Communities like Akampa, Biase, Ikom, and Akpabuyo local government areas are already suffering the losses as several viable economic trees, farmlands, shrines, graveyards, and places of cultural interest are already being destroyed to make way for the superhighway.
My late husband built this house. After that, Biafra will live here. He come buy this land from the village. He built the house. He married me since 1980. Come this village and living here before he did in year 2003. He lived with many children. Follow, I don't come. Come follow the economic tree. This house, there was a house here and kitchen. All this side economic tree, they don't damage all. You know, say I'm a widow. What can I do? Where will I stay?
The Cross River State National Park, established in 1988 as one of the oldest rainforests in Africa, which has been designated by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, as a biodiversity hotspot. The potential benefits of this natural resource to humanity in terms of pharmaceutical research, ecotourism, and wildlife conservation cannot be quantified. Unfortunately, vast areas of this rainforest will be wiped out to make way for the superhighway. This is unacceptable, and efforts must be made to protect these natural habitats at all costs. Dr. Clement Ibim, a natural resource scientist specializing in wildlife resource and forestry, who led the advocacy and creation of the National Park Service in Nigeria and also the creation of the Cross River National Park, warned about the danger of this project on the biodiversity of the national park and forest reserve.
At destroying the future of Nigerians, but specifically Cross Riverians, because you see, when once any access road gets into a pristine area, half of the resources are gone. Timber, wildlife. Of course, you know that the construction alone will disturb the habitats of those rare and endangered species. When we started work in the Cross River National Park, we discovered 9 species that were new to science. In fact, this was the first place they were ever recorded. And the WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, and other organizations that supported this program emphasized the need to preserve those habitats, the pristine habitats, to ensure that those species are not wiped out. But this project, again, to say the least, is just about destroying all those species, their habitats, and everything that we have there.
There have been more questions as to the funding of a project of this magnitude. Where would the Cross River State Government, who is in debt of over 235 billion naira, find the money to carry out the construction of the superhighway billed at about 700 billion naira? In February 2019, the governor wrote to the State Assembly seeking approval to borrow 648 billion naira to fund the project. According to the letter, the Cross River State Government will issue what is called an Irrevocable Standing Payment Order, ISPO, to Sydney Construction Company, the contractor executing the project. If this order is approved by the Cross River State Assembly, the state government would be immediately mandated to pay the sum of 300 million naira monthly for the next 180 years to the construction company as debt repayment for the superhighway.
To take that amount of money monthly for a period which runs about 180 years, it is, I've never heard any such arrangement, be it from a government or from whatever organization which wants to project for a period as long as that. It seems to me it is to me rather very unfortunate that it could ever be contemplated. It's totally unbelievable, unacceptable.
It is to be noted that Cross River State currently is the 4th most indebted state in the country. As of December 2017, Cross River's external debt is $167 million and its domestic debt of 125 billion naira is growing by 2% every year. This additional debt will increase the debt much more, leaving generations yet unborn with a huge financial burden to carry.
To have contemplated such a project in a state which has so many other issues, so many areas which are needing development, you want to think that what we call Superhighway. And the project, I dare say, it's not in the hands of a competent contractor. There is no pedigree for the contracting firm that we know. How they were selected, no one knows. But they certainly do not qualify to handle a project of that magnitude. Because you must have a pedigree before you can be given such a mighty responsibility.
There are lots of alternative projects the state government can embark on to develop the state, from creating agri processing hubs, information technology hubs, to supporting small and medium-scale enterprises. One of such notable alternatives is ecotourism.
If we are talking about engaging in developments that will ensure the sustainable economic future of this country, the first thing to consider is the development of ecotourism. Cross River State is blessed with areas that have high ecosystem value. You talk of Obudu Cattle Ranch, they now refer to it as the Obudu Mountain Resort. That area is begging for development. Like I mentioned earlier, the remnant population of gorillas is around that area. It's between the national park and the escarpment of the Obudu Cattle Ranch. Elsewhere in the world, gorilla tourism, it's number one income earner in places like Rwanda, Uganda, and all those other countries. Now, I would suggest and advise the government to focus on developing the ecotourism potentials of this state. Many people think that, I'm talking as a wildlife scientist, many people think that in the past, parks that were created in the savanna zones where you go and see wildlife roaming about. But today, we have come to know that the rainforest is of high economic, biodiversity potentials. So there is a lot more to see than just animals roaming about. And of course, I talked of the medicinal value. Just recently, it's on WhatsApp that our common bitter leaf, the American researchers in America have been able to manufacture capsules from bitter leaf. You swallow them, they take care of a lot of ailments, BP and the rest, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of medicinal plants in the rainforest that, as a people, we should focus on researching into their medicinal potentials and other things that would be of high economic value to the citizenry. But we're not doing that.
According to EBSCO Sustainability Watch, global ecotourism is a $77 billion industry growing at 10 to 15% yearly. African countries like Kenya, South Africa, and Tanzania have tapped into the huge potential of ecotourism and are benefiting greatly. Cross River State can learn a lot from these countries. This is such a low-hanging fruit. We call on all stakeholders of Cross River to unite their voices against this project. The state has got great potentials, and it is not a wise decision to put the state under such a huge financial burden that will limit opportunities for growth and cripple the state financially. We call on the Cross River State House of Assembly to stand up for the people it represents by disapproving this project and shutting it down.
I would suggest that the Cross River State House of Assembly should call for a public hearing so that all people, people of all walks of life will have the opportunity and to air their views and express their opinions concerning this particular project.
The last assembly deservedly rejected an earlier request sent to it by the governor for the approval of the ISPO. This new assembly must do the same.